Hello, I'm Mike Brown, and like you, I work for London Underground. As most of you will know, last year we launched the London Underground harassment policy, and in the first year of the policy's existence, I have been receiving some encouraging feedback. Many of the destructive habits and behaviours which were a part of our past are being worked out of our business. I'm pleased about that because these behaviours cannot be a part of our future. But we can't afford to be complacent and pretend that the issue of harassment has been dealt with in just 1 year. It's a problem we have to constantly monitor and tackle, which is why we've made this film, a further demonstration of our commitment to wipe out harassment. The locations used in this video are incidental, but the stories you are about to hear are based on the real-life experiences of London Underground employees interviewed following the introduction of the harassment policy. Whilst their stories will be told by actors, it is important to remember that what you will hear reflects the exact words of the people we interviewed. Some of it is pretty shocking. None of it can be ignored.
This is what it can feel like sometimes, working in this place and being black. You feel everyone around you is sticking together, going in one direction. All of them sharing the same messed up ideas and attitudes, while you get left to make it on your own. If you get to feel that way for long enough, well, you know, the only direction you can go is down. I've heard people say that I'm just like the rest of my kind that work here, that we are all lazy black bastards. A bit of racist banter is just the way of the world. We should be thicker skinned is just for a laugh. But when you tell them it's not funny, then you must have a chip on your shoulder, because it's not personal. It's not personal. Ask the parents of Stephen and Lawrence if it got personal. It's hard not to lose heart when you're made to feel like a second-class citizen just because of the color of your skin.
And before you say it's just a bit of fun, that the things that happen to people like me are just for a laugh, I want you to understand something. I'm not a pet, a plaything for people to amuse themselves with. I'm not here to lighten the shift when things get boring. I've got work to do, just like everyone else.
A white colleague of mine, working in the booking office, had some money stolen. And our manager interviewed all of us Asians and all the black multifunctionals. You get what I'm saying? None of the other MS were questioned, just those of us who asked for it because of the colour of our skin.
Single to Tottenham Court Road, please.
So, stop and think about that. Think about what that says to people like me who work here. That we can't be trusted. We're guilty until proven innocent if anything bad happens. Well, I decided to take my complaint to another DSM. And you know what? He was afraid. Yeah, too bloody scared that he'd lose face if he stood up to protect the rights of a black people. He sat on my complaint for 3 months. Told me to try and forget about it and let things get back to normal. Normal? Oh, and by the way, guess who stole the money? One of the white guys.
See, a lot of blokes, when you tell them you're the victim of sexual harassment, I'm not kidding, they get excited. They want to hear all the sordid details. Because they think you must have asked for it. The way their tiny, sicko minds work, they come to the conclusion that if it's happening to you, then you must be up for it. So no one takes it seriously. I've had unbelievable stuff written about me on my train by so-called colleagues. Stuff written on the J doors, on the blinds, on the lockups. Not just obscene things, hateful stuff. And the more I let people know that I'm disgusted by it, that there's no funny side to it, the more vicious the poems and graffiti become. That sort of thing just wears you down, plays on your mind. And that's really dangerous when you think about it. Sometimes it's like you're invisible, like your feelings don't count, precisely because you're a woman. I was in the depot, the train was defective. Just a group of lads and me, the only woman. And the DMT slobs along. Takes a look at the lads, has a look at me, and starts talking, loud as you like, about how he fancies a quick gangbang. Then he looks at the lads, asks them which one wants to go first. Most of the lads didn't know where to look. I suppose they're embarrassed. None of them challenged him, none of them stood up to him. They just kept their mouths shut. Well, if you ask me, that's pretty much as bad as a DMT. Silence is like a kind of approval, isn't it? Lets blokes like that off the hook. Well, I told him what I thought of him. I soon shut him up. Well, it shouldn't get to that stage, should it? One of the lads who was there came and found me later. Said he was really impressed by the way I'd handled it. Said he'd wanted to say something, but he'd been too afraid he'd lose face. So I sort of laughed at that. I mean, it sounded pathetic, which upset him. Then I found out the real reason he was afraid. Turns out he's gay. He was petrified of what might happen to him if his teammates found out about it. Well, the way I see it, we're all different. We're all entitled to our views and opinions. But it isn't right to play God, start forcing your views on other people. It's disrespectful. And we all need respect, right?
I tell you, when I first came back to work after having my kids, I was made to feel like a real leper. A lot of the blokes, particularly the ones who've been here a few years, really tried to lay the guilt thing on me. You're not a mum, you're not a wife, you're letting your kids and your husband down. You can't do your job, you're nothing, worthless. Which is not the best welcome every morning when you come in, believe me. To make matters worse, I had a word with my manager about a possible promotion. We had a chat. He was nice as pie to my face. Then when we finished talking, I left the office and I was halfway down the corridor and I realised I'd left my pen on his desk. So I went back, only to find him having a laugh with one of his colleagues about me, saying that the only worthwhile position for a woman was horizontal. When he saw me there, he went bright red. He said he was just joking. But I realised I couldn't even trust my manager to put my best interests first.
All right, Anita.
Probably didn't hear me. Who am I fooling? Of course she heard me. She's treating me like everybody else is just now. Because I'm on light duties. Easy life, they call it. On account of my diabetes. After 25 years on the job, I got ill. And now I'm assessed as being disabled. And I'm getting it in the neck. Still, I suppose I shouldn't grumble. I've dished it out a fair bit in my time on the underground. Of course, I'm not proud about it. But look, we didn't give a monkeys then. It wasn't important. It was just what you did. You took a poke at anyone who was different. And it wasn't as if we didn't know it was wrong. I did. We all did. But it was easier just to go with your mates and keep face. Of course, some of the lads got really carried away. There was this supervisor I knew who tried it on with every woman he came across. Turned up outside one woman's house one morning and invited himself in, as he put it, for a bit of breakfast and a bit of the other. Wow, we all laughed about it at the time. We knew this stuff was wrong, yeah. But we just kept quiet, you know? That's why I'm pleased the harassment policy was launched last year. Things which we've ignored or turned a blind eye to before, but at last there's a way of bringing them out into the open, so we can deal with them once and for all, which means that for people who are experiencing harassment, there's real hope.
I reckon this policy's going to work. It has to.
It's making a difference now.
We can make things better.
There's no going back from here.
I'm really glad that many of our people have reacted to the harassment policy positively. I know that it's making a difference, as we've just heard, and I believe it will continue to make a difference. For anyone who doubts our resolve to make the necessary changes within our business and wipe harassment out, I want to let you know this. Things are changing right now. 1 year on from the introduction of the policy, no less than 6 people have been dismissed for severe or persistent harassment. Other penalties have been used in less severe cases. We are really serious about the issue of harassment, and we are tackling it with genuine determination. Take the course of action that feels right for you, but please do not decide to do nothing. I know that my fellow directors, the senior management team and the trade unions are absolutely determined to make victimisation, prejudice, discrimination and abusive behaviour a thing of the past. Let's look forward to a future where respect, dignity and decency are the hallmarks of the way we conduct ourselves, so that our business is a business we can be entirely proud of.